You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 366 for Sunday the 20th of July 2021.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phapes, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Firstly, let's start with a happy Father's Day.
Yeah, Father's Day. And it's the same in both UK and the US for a change.
It is. And hello to you there, Janie.
Hello there, Michelle.
So, not really doing anything this year. Gonna be burying my head in the sand and avoiding all of the Father's Day posts that have been going on Facebook for the last 3 months.
Yeah, it's a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose you don't really get your head round it and understand it. And I'll put my hands up first. I never appreciated the loss of a parent, how other people who had gone through it, until I went through it myself.
Yeah, obviously my dad's still with us, but I lost my mum a few years back now. And there are particular moments in time and it creeps up and gets you when you least expect it.
Yeah. But to those of you who are celebrating, whether you are a birth father, a grandfather, adoptive, step, whatever the prefix and label you are given in life, thank you for being that fantastic role model for that daughter, son, grandchild, etc. You deserve all the pampering in the world today.
Yeah, feet up day for dads.
Absolutely. Let's just joke a little minute there. What's different to any other Sunday? Ba-dum-bum-tsh.
Yay.
Anyway, Janie love, let's start off this week with a little bit of Disney history.
Yeah, so talking of Father's Day, a little bit of a nice segue in there. 1940, there was an actor by the name of John Mahoney born. Now, I didn't realise that this chap is actually English, born in Blackpool, up in their Lancashire area of the UK. Now, the reason I say Father's Day is because he's best known for playing Martin Crane in the sitcom Frasier. So he played the dad, yeah? But he's obviously done some work for Disney. He voiced Preston B. Whitmore in both the Atlantis films, The Lost Empire and Milo's Return, and he also voiced Pappy in Kronk's New Groove and Tim 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 in Teacher's Pet. So he's done those voiceover work. But I just thought, oh, it's kind of nice because it's Father's Day, and I know him in my head because I used to love watching Frasier. So, so John Mahoney. I didn't realise he was born in Blackpool, UK resident.
Oh, and Blackpool's famous for a good old sticker rock and that beautiful little theme park over there. If you could call it a theme park.
Yeah, not so little now, I don't think, as it is. It's what it used to be once over. Anyway, moving forward just 1 year to 1941. And I have to confess, this is a debut of a film, and I don't think I've ever seen it. So this is the animated / live action feature film, The Reluctant Dragon. So I don't know whether you've seen it at all, Michelle. It was Disney's 4th feature film, and it was actually released by RKO Radio Pictures. The thing with this was the first third of the film was in black and white, and then the remaining 2/3 went into Technicolor. And it's based on the Kenneth Grahame book, The Reluctant Dragon, and it was one of the first animated features to incorporate live action in with it. I'm going to have to try and dig this out because I'm really intrigued by it now. Because apparently in the film, it also featured Casey Jr., Old MacDonald Duck, and How to Ride a Horse. And then just to add a little bit more on top of this, when they had the premiere, which was held on 20th June 1941, and it was held at the Pantages Theatre in Hollywood, it was disrupted by a mob of Walt striking Disney cartoonists. So the police actually had to cordon off Hollywood Boulevard around the theatre for fear of what these rampaging cartoonists might actually do.
Oh my word.
So I thought, it's like a film I'd not heard of, and it's got drama and everything going with this. So, yeah, we'll have to look up The Reluctant Dragon and find out a bit more about it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so then we're going to flash forward to 1952. Another actor was born on this day, and this is John Goodman. I had to mention him because we all know John Goodman best probably for James P. Sullivan in Monsters, Inc. and Monsters University. And as Molly absolutely loves Monsters, Inc., I have to give him a mention. He was obviously Sullivan Trucking Cars. He was Pasha in Emperor's New Groove and Emperor's New School. He's also voiced Baloo in Jungle Book 2 and Eli, Big Daddy LaBeouf in The Princess and the Frog. So lots of things we know John Goodman for. And of course, another famous actor for doing another famous sitcom, because he was in the original Roseanne as well. So
I loved Roseanne, and then she went all weird and political and whatever. But I grew up watching that show, and a lot of the actors in that went on and morphed into being in Big Bang Theory. So I don't know whether that's why I love Big Bang so much.
Possibly, yeah. I must admit, seeing those two names in one little bit of research there, Roseanne and Frasier, and it's like that, oh yeah, and Cheers, and it sort of took me back to all those sitcoms of that particular era that I used to remember watching it like on a Friday night or at tea time telly, as we used to call it. So yeah. And then just one more, my last one for this week is from 1976, and this is when Walt Disney World's River Country opens. This was the water park that was adjacent to Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. Now, it actually officially closed in November 2001, but it's obviously got a little bit of a checkered history, and it's that thing. I remember it being there when I very first visited in 1991, and I've seen it when you used to go get the boat over to Discovery Island, but I never actually went to it, and I'm kind of kicking myself now that we never actually made it over there, because obviously that kind of gave the foothold to the likes of Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach being developed. Didn't know though that it was actually officially opened by US President Gerald Ford's daughter Susan.
Oh,
there you go, randomly. But yeah, so I know there's been a few little documentaries about it over the years, and it was quite sad when it kind of was just left and was cordoned off and nothing really happened with it. But I think now it has all been removed, etc. But yeah, so it's kind of a little sad story. It's a shame it's not there, but I think there was a lot of concern over Florida laws prohibiting the use of what they call a natural body of water for water park use and one thing and another. So shame it's gone, but we have got the legacy of two great water parks out of it, so not all bad.
And isn't it weird that you can still see elements of this? I know Disney are in the process of eradicating it, but for many a year, there were all sorts of urban explorers would go and find it and wander around to see the slides still in place. It was really weird.
Yeah, I know when we were last, I mean, it's a fair few years now since we were in Disney World, but catching the various boat taxis over from Wilderness Lodge towards Contemporary and obviously to Magic Kingdom, we were trying to point out to the kids roughly where it would have been, and we were talking about Discovery Island, and that was the nature reserve and going on that. So that was really weird to see that there and not be able to get to it as well. So a lot of history in there would be, that's something that Disney ought to do with one of their little Imagineering stories on. We were talking about that the other week, weren't we? They ought to look at these no longer functioning aspects of their theme parks and give us a little bit of a history tour.
Yeah, good point on that one then, lovely. Well, Disney fans this week have been dancing in their pyjamas as the news broke excitedly. Fireworks are back! I am so excited because our wonderful, gorgeous friend Anthony Markham has got his July birthday trip to Walt Disney World. And I know lots of other people going in July, and they are kicking off fireworks on July the 1st in Walt Disney World. There are a couple of nights they're going to do some sort of like practice runs, and because of Walt Disney World and the nature of the area, etc., as a courtesy they inform local residents, blah blah blah, so we know which nights they're going to be doing the practices on. But Happily Ever After, which I adore, I absolutely love the music, the theme, the idea of it, crying 9:15 every night through July. Every night, Jane.
Fab. That's how it should be. That's what Disney's about.
I know. Epcot Forever, 10 p.m. every night. Not as keen on this because you know where my heart is, Jane.
Yeah. And obviously this is a bit of a filler show, isn't it? Ready for the new Harmonious or whatever it's called coming into play.
Yeah. Over in Disneyland, their first night kicks off on July the 4th, and they are bringing back from January 2019 Mickey's Mix Magic, which is a nightly show. Again, I'm loving that nightly word, loving that. And it's got projections, it's got show lighting, it's got lasers on Main Street, the castle, it's a small works facade, and of course, the kaboom, the fireworks. I think we're now starting to see some value in those ticket prices for Disneyland.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously there's lots of restrictions are getting lifted left, right and centre in both Disneyland and Disney World. So the replacement of, the mask mandates being lifted, and we're seeing plexiglasses being removed and social distancing markers being taken down as well. And I think there was a call out has gone out, hasn't it, for the Beauty and the Beast stage show if the auditions are being held again. So there's lots of things happening that, like you say, Shell, is going to make that ticket price that much more tempting.
Yeah, when you think, for example, Epcot not opening till 11 o'clock and then closing at 9 o'clock or even 8 o'clock, the prices have been the same.
Yeah.
Disneyland, you go and you might not get a ride on Rise of the Resistance. Yeah. You might not even get a ride on Indiana Jones. You've got to queue and spend 3 hours or something for certain attractions. You might not even be able to book in any mobile food orders. So, it is an expensive price point. So to know that there is something starting to come back into the theme parks. California have been a little bit more, slow and steady. Walt Disney World, it just seems to me, what COVID?
Yeah, it's moving very quickly now, isn't it? I think it was that thing that they started off, cautiously, and then everything seems to be, sooner than one thing's been lifted, a few days later or a week later, then something else is getting lifted as well. So, and I've just heard this afternoon that over in France, they're lifting their mask mandates as from tomorrow, Thursday, and their curfew is being removed from Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Disneyland Paris as well, because obviously they're just in their soft openings as we record this today.
Yeah, and while we're speaking, I just want to say a big shout out to Le Shuttle Eurotunnel, because back in 2020, well, in fact, it was 2019 when I booked it. I booked travel for myself and Anthony to go on the Eurotunnel, and because his trip got cancelled, I had to get in touch with them and say, well, what can I do? Oh, you've booked non-refundable tickets. We can't give you your money back. So I rescheduled them for later in the year. Then Paris all shut down. Rescheduled again. Paris all shut down. Rescheduled them to travel on June the 25th, which I had no intention of doing, but I needed to reschedule. I rang them today and I said, look, guys, I cannot travel on July the 25th. What can I do? And she said, well, there's two options. We can reschedule them any time up to the 23rd of July, which is 2 years from when you booked them originally. I said, okay, can't do that. No intention of going to Paris before that date. And she said, well, the other alternative is we can give you a credit voucher. Right. And that is for how much you've spent. And you have that for a year to book them. So I could book this time next year for a year ahead.
Wow.
So for a non-refundable ticket, I am just wanting to say big hearts to you guys, because you didn't have to do that at all. You could have just turned around and said, sorry, you booked non-refundable tickets, you're getting nada.
Yeah. I do love it when companies understand the circumstances and don't just apply this blanket policy and are prepared to listen to their customers, because at the end of the day, my opinion always is you treat your customers right, we will then go on and tell other people about what a wonderful experience we've had, just as we will go on and tell other people what a rubbish experience we've had. And people will pay attention. If we're sat around talking with our friends and work colleagues, etc., and I happen to say what an amazing, experience you just had with Eurostar, I'm sure if people were and ahhing about using them, that would persuade them. Whereas conversely, it works the other way as well, doesn't it? So
absolutely.
It pays all round.
Yeah. And another point, as we're talking about Walt Disney World and the opening up, one thing I love is when you go buy a dress from the Disney dress shop, particularly if you are there trying on with your good buddy, Kat from over at Dis Down Under, and you get to try on every dress in the shop and play dress up. You've not been able to do that because the dressing rooms have been shut. They're starting to open up again. It's so exciting.
Yeah, I think the whole world just needs to get back to normal now and accept that we've done the best job we can. Let's open up, enjoy our lives and move on.
Apart from when you live in the area I live where the numbers are going absolutely through the roof and then it's just like, run for the hills. Okay, lovely. Well, I think that's it for our Disney news for this week. We've got a bit of an interesting feature I'd like to bring to people's attention, really.
Okay.
Because I think the one thing I love about what we do on our show is we try to look at different elements and give information, get guests and share trip reports and things like that. And when I sit and think about when I want to go back out and do a trip in the future, I started thinking about, well, why don't I do Walt's life journey?
Okay.
And I thought about all of the places I would like to visit that would connect me to Walt Disney the man. Because, you know, I am a super nerd and I like these things. Some of these places I've been to already, some of them I haven't. And I thought about, well, this would make an absolutely fantastic trip because I can go and visit places I've never been and it's got a connection to Walt. And it's getting me to see so much more of the wonderful country that America is because it's not just Florida and California.
Absolutely,
there are
of course it
other
isn't,
places.
This sounds like it could be an Adventures by Disney holiday, Michelle.
Adventures by Michelle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see a whole line now, yeah.
Well, let's start with the Walt Disney birthplace.
Right, okay.
So Elias Disney decided to build a home, put down roots in Chicago, Illinois, and he purchased a property on Tripp Avenue, October 31st, 1891. He paid $800 for that permit to build a 2-story property.
Wow.
And then on the 5th of December 1901, Walter Elias Disney was born. Now, this property had years of neglect. It really, really did. It was crumbling away and it came up for sale. And a group of businessmen came up with the idea, and we've spoken about this on the show because we've interviewed the group that was involved with this, and I'll find the show details to share it with everybody so you can find out. They did lots of crowdfunding type things. They even launched their own soda brand to raise money to reinvent, to restore, to bring the story of Walt Disney's birthplace to life. And it is a place where you can actually go and see and be involved with the start of Walt's story.
Yeah, I think it's really cool actually that they've been able to do that and find the resources to get it sorted because, Disney is such a name in life in general, isn't it? And I think places like this need to be preserved. It's a little bit of history and it's not doing anybody any harm by preserving it. So kudos to them for doing it.
Absolutely. So that has got to be one. And while I'm in Chicago, I obviously get to go and have a look around as well because there's all sorts of things I can enjoy and be excited about. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So then I started thinking about, well, where would I go next?
Right.
I've obviously got to go to Mausoleum.
Yeah, of course.
Because as I've just mentioned, Walt was born in 1901. But in 1906, the family moved to Mausoleum in Missouri. Never been there.
Can't say I have either, Michelle.
No. There's actually a fantastic museum there as well. The town is so proud of one of their most famous sons as well. And there's that nice little quote you can see on the website. I hope the youth of today and the future know as a childhood as happy as mine was in Mausoleum.
Oh.
So you can go and visit the museum. There are all sorts of different galleries that you can go and find out about his life, which, I love this. It's right up my street. It's 120 East Santa Fe Avenue in Marceline. You can find that out at waltdisneymuseum.org. It's open Tuesday through Sunday. Don't plan a trip on Monday. For some reason, Disney museums don't like to open on Mondays.
Yeah, why is this?
Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why. I was singing that to the kids today at school. They thought I was completely bonkers.
Yeah, because it's not Monday, Michelle.
Well,
that's why.
I know it wasn't Monday, but I was talking to them. This is a tangent. I'm sorry. I was explaining to them about how Live Aid got to start, and we were talking about why it was starting, because we're looking at this book at the moment called Boy 87, and it's the story of a refugee from an African country.
Okay.
So, and it's an excuse for me to show off I know about Live Aid.
Always an education with you, Michelle.
It's a tangent life, love. It's a tangent life. So then I thought of, right, okay, well, obviously Walt left there. I'll be probably a little bit hungry and ready for something to eat.
Okay.
So then I thought,
bit of a drive.
Let's go over to California, okay? And then I thought a really important place to go and visit is the Tam O'Shanter Inn.
Which I think you've been to, have you not?
I have been very fortunate. I think I've eaten there twice.
Wow.
Yeah. It's one of Los Angeles' most oldest prestigious restaurants. It opened in 1922, and before I went, I didn't know anything about it. Not even the name Tam O'Shanter made me think of this, but it's a very Scottish-themed interior.
I would think so with a name like that.
I know, but it didn't hit me. There's like whiskey everywhere and nice little doodles from Imagineers who have been in the time and obviously had meals with Walt there. I just love it. I absolutely love it. The founder was Lawrence Frank, and it was designed by Harry Oliver. Okay?
Right.
So, the food. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Well, it belongs to the Lowry's restaurant chain, which my lovely friend Tommy Allison has got one of those little Lowry cards. So, he gets some nice perks when he goes and visits. And the menu, oh my word, they sell Yorkshire pudding. And I am critical about Yorkshire pudding, Jane.
Mm-hmm. Well, being a Yorkshire lass, you have the right to be critical, yes.
Yeah, that pathetic insult of a Yorkshire pudding they sell at Epcot in the Rose and Crown. Well, you go to the Tam O'Shanter, established 1922, and you will get a really good Yorkshire pudding. And I'm not kidding, it is perfect. Oh my word, absolutely love it. They are very, very well known for the very best Angus beef cuts. So they have things like the Tam O'Shanter cut, the California cut, the English cut, the Prince Charlie cut. Prices ranging $41 going upwards, so it's a bit pricey, but you get some mashed potato, gravy, horseradish, and then you can choose veggies between cream corn or cream spinach, because for some reason they don't want you to have to chew at this restaurant. That's how much they care about you. They don't want to give you broccoli where you have to put effort into chewing it. The meat is so tender it literally goes on your tongue and evaporates in a big burst of flavour.
I think you might like it, mightn't you, Michelle?
I do, and my top tip is when you order the souffle and say thank you. Oh, can't beat a good souffle, Jane.
Okay.
Even though it's full of sugar, and you'll probably hate me for mentioning souffle.
No, not so much.
If you do like the odd alcoholic beverage, they have an amazing selection of what they call Scotch flights. So many different distilleries from all over the world that are showcased there that you can go and have a slurp from. So I highly, highly recommend that. But they do serve Guinness.
Oh, you like your Guinness then, do you, Michelle?
I do, because it's a meal in a glass. You don't even have to chew it. That's another place. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, how about going over to Griffith Park?
That would seem that's probably the most obvious place I would think people would think of if you were doing a in Walt's Steps type thing.
Absolutely. Built in 1926 by the Spillman Engineering Company, and it was commissioned by the Spreckles family. And it was originally housed at the Mission Beach Amusement Centre in San Diego, but it was moved to its current location in 1937.
Oh, wow.
It has 68 handmade horses, all of which that jump, and a custom-built 165 military band organ that plays over 1,500 different songs.
Wowzers.
And it's the only full-size Spillman carousel still in operation today. So if that's not reason to go and visit and just doff a few coppers in the old tin to say, wow, we want to keep a little bit of this history going.
Absolutely, yeah. Needs to preserve things like that, especially when the last one's standing type of thing.
Yeah, it's been shown in so many films. If you watch Grey's Anatomy, it's been in Grey's Anatomy. It's been in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. All sorts of films have featured in it. It's so iconic. It is an absolute joy to go and visit. So I think you can't go without paying a little visit.
Definitely.
Then I'm sort of thinking, well, I want to know more about Walt's life, so I'm going to leave sort of like Southern California and go up north.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the Walt Family Disney Museum.
Yeah, got to go there.
This is the bargain of your life. The best $25 you would spend.
Yeah, it's worth every cent.
Absolutely is. And the best thing is, top tip, is if you bring your military ID, whoop whoop the military, you get him for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does that apply to you as well, Michelle?
Well, I've tried it with Disney before, and they basically say, no, it's only US military.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Which is fair dues.
You know, I don't mind chipping $25 in because it's worth every single penny.
Yeah,
At the
definitely.
moment, you've got to buy tickets in advance, though.
Mm-hmm.
But can't help but recommend it. It's a fantastic place. There's a little bowling alley just up the way, and we went there for lunch and got burger and cheese fries. It was really good. Really bad. So, and I remember going and seeing the Mary Blair exhibit there.
Wow, yeah.
But you and your family went as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we were there 2010, so I think we were there not long after it very first opened, maybe within 6 months, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite new at the time, and yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, absorbing all that history and getting to see, you know, more about Walt's life and how the studio's developed, etc. But I have to say, it's the last little bit that you walk through. Oh, yeah. You need a box of tissues. That's all I will say. Me and Simon came out, and we were like absolutely beside ourselves, you know. And we were talking to I was going to say a cast member. I don't know whether you'd call them cast members at the staff at the museum. And we actually said, well, you've done the most outstanding job there, because to have us both in tears, you must have done something right, because it's just, yeah, it's heartbreaking and touching and emotional and educational as well.
Yeah, and I would love to go back, because I think I went through, even though I spent the whole day there, I think I'd like to go back and absorb it, and exhibits change and things get put in and out of display as well, because, you know, they've got so many exhibits, they loan them out to different places and then come back, and then they put them back on exhibition again. So love. And they've done lots of things virtually over the lockdown period as well. I know our friend Catherine Hall Wong has watched a few things that they've been screening. Yeah,
and which has been great for all these institutions that have been able to do that. And I think, like you say, Shell, because this is something that's going to be ever evolving, and they'll change and they'll swap round and, you know, bring new things in, or they might have a focus on a particular animator or an aspect of Walt's life or whatever it may well be. It's one of those places that you can afford to go back and revisit. And even if it's not changed much since your last visit, I'm sure you'd go around and see things or pick up on things that maybe you'd missed first time around anyway. And I say, for the money is that it's not charging you effectively, it's well worth the time to go out there and have a visit.
Agreed. Then a very sombre end to the California experience, and that's back down to visit Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, to go and visit Walt Disney's gravesite.
Yeah, it would be a respectful thing to do when you've traced his life throughout.
If you've never been, it's very easy to find. You need to look for the Freedom Mausoleum, and it's just sort of, there's like a garden bit, and then Walt's area is like a little square bit with grass in the middle, and on the wall there's a plaque, and it has 4 names on that plaque. There's Walter Elias Disney, his wife Lillian Bounds Disney, who did remarry after Walt passed away. There is Robert B. Brown, who is actually Robert Bergfeld Brown, and he was the husband of Sharon Disney. And then Sharon Disney, her ashes were scattered in paradise, it says on the plaque. And there's like a little angelic girl statue on the ground. And we'd just been to the Tam O'Shanter, so I left Walt a menu and a little note on the menu, and just had a few quiet moments there, and it was lovely to be able to go. Oh my word, I have never been to a cemetery that was so big. Literally, you don't walk into it. Oh no, you drive, because it is huge.
Wowzers.
Absolute. I was stunned by the size of it. I really, really was. And there's different elements going back different decades, and it's all on different levels.
Wow.
It was a real insight into, real Americana, with seeing all the different gravestones and the buildings, and it was fantastic. As a cemetery could be, because
yes.
I'm very nerdy on that sort of thing. I do like to visit cities anyway, and go and visit a good old gravestone and have a look round and look at the names and the history and be respectful at the same time.
Yeah.
That's my little walk in Walt's footsteps tour. If you would like to accompany me on the said tour, I'm sure we can make it happen, Jane.
I'm quite happy to go out there and do that with you, Michelle,
Yeah. Let's try and plan it 2022, next August.
Right.
Oh, hang on a minute, I'm on a cruise then. Doesn't matter,
okay.
I'll do Disneyland and World all together just for you, because big heart.
Hey, if we could do that, Shell, I'd be well up for that, in all seriousness.
Yeah. Lots of travel around an amazing country, which, I do want to go and visit more. I'm going to get my little car and we'll do some driving, and there'll be some other places I'd like to pop into as well, and visit some other people that they keep saying, are you ever going to come through Arizona? Yes, I will.
It's going to be a proper road trip for us then, loving it?
It is. We could get an RV, and it could be the Disney Dream Girls RV.
Disney Dream Girls on tour.
Absolutely, and we're going to stop at every single See's candy store and stock up on those amazing chocolates, because, oh my word, if anything I am missing from California right now, it's See's candy and an In-N-Out double. So need that. Right, lovely. We have had a fantastic bit of a chat. We have more chats available if you would like to listen to past shows, past exclusive shows over on our Patreon channel, patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. Also, all our past shows are available on DisneyDreamGirls.com, where you can delve back and find some fantastic interviews and food reviews, cruise reviews, everything. I think this week I shared the link for when I reviewed Remy on the Disney Fantasy. So a few people have messaged and said, it was really nice to relive being on the Disney Fantasy with you, Michelle. So thank you. So please do that. We are sharing pictures and comments over on Twitter under @DisDreamGirls. And we also have our Facebook page, Disney Dream Girls Podcast Family. So, Jane, shall we say goodbye and toddle on off and do a bit of other bits and pieces for Patreon?
I suppose we ought to, really, didn't we?
Big love to everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for reviewing us. It really does mean a great deal to us. Keep up the hard work. I hope you've enjoyed the show. And if you want to suggest anything else we can add to the Walking Walt's Footstep Tour, please don't hesitate to drop us a little bit of a message.
And Michelle's now going to go away and copyright that name.
Michelle is going to go and start booking this trip Until next time, anyway, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.